The gentleman from Henrico, Mr. Morrissey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Rise for a point of personal privilege.
The gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I recognize and realize that politics can be a contact sport. I appreciate that. There's something cathartic about a good fight. Been in a couple of them. But, Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what I don't like. I don't like bullying. I don't like ganging up on the little guy. And boy, did we see some bullying and ganging up last night. I'm sorry that the other members of the House weren't there to see it. Went to House Rules to present a bill to allow gay men and women to serve in the Virginia National Guard. That bill was never heard. And to set the stage, you have to have seen or been a fan of the old movie or the old show, The Time Tunnel. Because that's what it was like last night. The Time Tunnel was an 80s show where you went into this tunnel and you went back in time, and that's what we did last night. It felt like 1948 and Strom Thurmond was running for president and proselytizing. Delegate Marshall presented a bill, and he had 4 witnesses, and he was given 55 minutes to articulate his bill why gay men and women should not be allowed in the Virginia National Guard. I was not given 55 seconds to say why they should. Indeed, my bill was tabled as I was walking up to the podium. Now, as I said last night, I represent 80,000 people in the Commonwealth. Those people have a voice, and like it or not, I'm their voice right now. And that voice wasn't heard. And what was really sad was the arguments that we heard. Again, the gentleman from Prince William County presented a general. That gentleman has served this country with distinction in the Army. But his thoughts and his mindset was back 60 years. He said, and I'm quoting, allowing open homosexuals, his words, would provide a sexual dimension that would destroy combat effectiveness. It would destroy that bond. It would destroy that love. What he didn't say is how. And then when the minority leader asked him a question, he equated, again, homosexuals, his word, to the blind and the obese. They're not effective and they should not be allowed to serve in the military. Now, comparing somebody's sexual orientation to a physical disability like blindness or obesity is anathema to every forward-thinking Virginian in the Commonwealth. But what was also troubling, when that was uttered, not one person from the majority side called him down. Not one person said that's wrong. That was disappointing. Also, we had a colonel that testified. That colonel said that the effectiveness and the readiness and the cohesion is affected by allowing gay people to serve in the military. His words. Then when asked to give a description, this is what he said. Well, when they're shot, they bleed, and when they bleed, they spurt blood, and when they spurt blood, they're spreading HIV. Which means then, I guess, that every person who is gay has HIV. Newsflash to that colonel, not necessarily true. Then he said it was difficult, we couldn't retain the gay men and women in the military. Geez, I've got it all wrong. I thought the gay men and women were trying to serve in the military, and it was the military that has spent $500 million in the last decade drumming them out. I got that one wrong. Then the minority leader asked the general another question on round 2. Well, what about women? This is the part that every woman in this General Assembly is going to love. And I'm paraphrasing, but almost to a word. Having women in the military is painful. But the benefits slightly outweigh the pain. I guess the benefits is they can cook. Now, wasn't that interesting that just yesterday that word was uttered when my colleague, Delegate Sherwood, introduced a bill to elevate to secretary level a woman to military suit to serve as the Secretary of Veterans Affairs and Homeland Security. I'm just thinking there's a lot of women in this Commonwealth, a lot of women in this chamber that don't believe it's painful for women to serve in the military. But again, the silence was deafening. Not one person on the other side challenged that statement. In fact, the folks on the other side, including my friend from Henrico County, Delegate Janis, endorsed every single word that he said. Every single word. You know, I also questioned, would have questioned, did I mention I didn't have a chance to speak? I would have questioned Delegate Marshall's suggestion that allowing gays to serve in the Virginia National Guard is a grand social experiment. Interesting choice of words, folks. Same expression that was used 62 years ago when we tried to integrate the services with African Americans. It was a social experiment. That seemed to work out pretty well. There was not one word about what really matters. Not one person testifying for Delegate Marshall said that our gay men and women who are simply desirous of serving their country and Commonwealth lacked the integrity, the courage, the discipline, the stick-to-itiveness, the character of mind and body to serve. And I would have asked him, do these gay men and women who want to serve lack these traits? Do gay men and women have the inability to gain the military preparedness and strategy? The general said no. He said back from the time that we fought the War of Independence, they are incapable, to use his word, homosexuals, of being able to defend our country. Well, wonder if he was familiar with Frederick von Steuben. Served for General Washington. While at Valley Forge, he taught basic drills, improved the command structure, and developed a training manual that's still used today. The training of the American Continental Army at Valley Forge was done by Frederick von Steuben. Guess what? He was gay. Not able to command, not able to lead. Who am I talking about? He overwhelmed immense armies and became the conqueror of a kingdom stretching from Greece to Persia, Egypt, and India. He never lost a single battle. He was one of the greatest military leaders in history whose tactics and performance are copied to this day. And he was gay. Who am I talking about? Alexander the Great. Mr. Speaker, gay men and gay women serve this country and this Commonwealth every day, and they do it with distinction, they do it with class, they do it with nobility. They are our first responders. They are our judges and our lawyers. They are our legislators. They treat us when we're sick, and they teach our children, and they do it superbly. How dare we say that they can't serve in the Virginia National Guard? Where do we get the audacity? And lastly, where do we get the audacity that we don't let one of our members ever not speak and utter the words? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.